The little girl sat quietly at the edge of the dinner table, her small hands folded in her lap, her wide eyes staring down at the untouched plate before her. Her name was Lily. At only 7 years old, she already knew what it felt like to be unwanted. The soft curls of her hair fell across her forehead as she tried to make herself invisible. Her stepmother, Clara, walked briskly around the kitchen, her heels clicking against the tiled floor. Clara had been in Lily's life for only a year, but to Lily, it felt like an eternity of cold stares, sharp words, and a growing sense that her home wasn't really hers anymore. It was supposed to be breakfast. A simple glass of milk. But Clara didn't hand it to Lily like a mother should. Instead, with a twisted smirk, she tipped the glass over, letting the milk spill across the table and drip onto Lily's dress. The little girl gasped softly as the cold liquid soaked through her clothes, but she didn't cry. She had learned not to cry. Crying only made things worse. Clara leaned close, her voice sharp and cruel. "Useless girl. Can't even drink without being a burden." But what Clara didn't know was that someone had been watching. Standing just outside the doorway was Daniel Hartman, a man whose presence could silence any room. He was a self-made millionaire, a businessman known for his sharp mind and unshakable authority. But more than wealth, Daniel carried something far greater, a heart that still believed in kindness, fairness, and love. And in that moment, as he saw Clara pour milk over the little girl's head, something inside him snapped. His voice thundered through the room, "Stop." The sound was so powerful that Clara froze in place, her smug smile vanishing instantly. Lily looked up in shock, her wide eyes meeting Daniel's for the first time. She had never seen anyone stand up for her before. Daniel stepped into the room, his gaze like steel as he looked at Clara. "What do you think you're doing to this child?" His tone was steady, commanding, and filled with a mix of anger and protectiveness. Clara tried to recover, stammering, She's clumsy, Daniel. She spilled it herself." But Daniel wasn't fooled. He walked to Lily's side, gently kneeling down so he was eye level with her. "Tell me the truth, sweetheart. Did you spill it?" Lily's lips trembled. For a moment, fear held her tongue, but then something in Daniel's eyes gave her courage. She whispered, "No. She did it." Daniel's jaw tightened. He had suspected Clara's cruelty before, but this was the confirmation he needed. He stood tall again, his figure casting a shadow over the room. "Clara, you will never treat her this way again. Do you understand me? Never." His voice was low but fierce, the kind of voice that carried finality. From that moment, everything began to change. Lily had lost her mother years ago in a tragic accident, and her father, Daniel's younger brother, had remarried Clara, believing he was giving his daughter a complete family again. But in truth, he was too blinded by his own grief and the comfort Clara provided him to see the pain his daughter endured. Daniel had always loved Lily from afar, checking in, sending gifts, but he hadn't realized how bad things had become inside the house. Now, with his own eyes, he knew. Over the weeks that followed, Daniel made it his mission to protect Lily. He took her to school, listened to her stories, and sat with her at night when she had nightmares. Slowly, Lily began to trust again. She began to smile, to laugh, to believe that not every adult in her life wanted to hurt her. Clara, on the other hand, grew bitter. Her cruelty only deepened when Daniel was not around, but Lily had learned she wasn't alone anymore. She had someone who would believe her. Then one evening, everything came to a breaking point. Clara, frustrated that Daniel's attention was pulling away from her, lashed out again. This time, she grabbed Lily by the arm too harshly, leaving a mark. Lily flinched and tried to pull away, but before Clara could say another word, Daniel walked into the room. His eyes immediately saw the red mark on Lily's skin. Without hesitation, he called Clara out in front of everyone, including his brother. The truth spilled out. Clara's mask shattered. The lies, the cruelty, the manipulation, Everything Daniel had warned about was laid bare. Lily's father stood in shock, realizing how blind he had been. Guilt consumed him, but Daniel placed a hand on his brother's shoulder and said firmly, "It's not too late. Choose your daughter. Choose to protect her." That night, Clara was asked to leave. She protested, she cried, she tried to twist the story, but no one believed her anymore. For the first time in a long time, Lily felt safe. Her father promised to change, to pay attention, to never let anyone hurt her again. And Daniel, her uncle, her protector, remained a steady presence by her side. Months passed. Lily's smile returned, brighter than ever. She began painting again, something her mother had once encouraged her to do. Daniel made sure she had all the brushes and colors she wanted. Her father, once distant, became her biggest supporter, learning how to braid her hair, help with homework, and even bake cookies together. Slowly, their home turned from a place of fear into a place of love. The story spread quietly in the town. People whispered about the millionaire who had stood up for a little girl against cruelty. But to Daniel, it wasn't about wealth, or reputation, or pride. It was about love. It was about doing what was right, even when it was hard. And one evening, as the sun set over the horizon, Lily tugged at Daniel's sleeve. "Uncle Daniel," she said softly, "when you shouted stop that day, you saved me." Tears filled Daniel's eyes as he hugged her tightly. "No, sweetheart," he whispered, "you saved yourself. You were brave enough to tell the truth. I just gave you the chance to be heard." The story of Lily and her uncle was not just about wealth, or power, or cruelty defeated. It was about courage, about the importance of standing up for those who cannot stand for themselves. It was about family, not the one you're given, but the one who shows up when you need them most. And so, the little girl who once sat quietly at the table, covered in spilled milk, grew up knowing that love always wins over cruelty. All because one man, with a voice that shook the walls, had shouted a single word, "Stop."